Hello and welcome to a Thai football podcast. On this week's close season special, our guest is Backheel Media's Thai football correspondent, Ta Lau. Take it away, Anthony and the boys. Hello, Ta. Welcome back on a Thai football podcast. It's great to have you here again.
Hello from Thailand, Dale. Thank you so much for bringing me back on. It was an absolute honor joining last year, and it's the summer transfer window period again, so here I am.
When you were with us last time, you picked your 5 players to look out for in the 23-24 season, and you're going to do the same again for 24-25. Can you give us a quick recap on the 5 players you picked last year?
Oh gosh, we really want to go there and embarrass myself, Dale?
No, you don't have to. But I do have to. I've got 2 words written on a piece of paper in front of me. And
Okay,
I'm
say
going to
it.
read them out, and I want your genuine reaction. Ben Davis.
All right, end the call, Dale, end the call.
Okay. So for people who weren't listening last time, you've no idea what we're talking about. So we'll brush over it and we'll just crack on. That's all in the past. That's history. Let's move on. So your 5 players for this season. We'll start at number 5. Who's your first one on your list?
Yep. So the list I have, similar to last year, I'm gonna go 5 to 1. So from number 5, 4, 3, and then obviously number 1 being the most hyped player to look out for in the upcoming 2024 to 2025 campaign. At number 5 on my list, he's a newcomer to the Thai League One. He is foreign forward for Bangkok United from the Netherlands, Ricardo Zivkovic, 187 centimeters tall, 27 years old, former Netherlands youth national team player, last played at Lion City Sailors in the Singapore Premier League. He's got a brilliant background, played at the likes of Groningen, Ajax, Red Star Belgrade, so he's done it in Europe. I think Bangkok United this offseason, they've not made the biggest noise. It's not been like, oh, we're going to ship in 10 new players and, completely revamp the squad. But they've sort of gone like for like in terms of who they will look to replace. So they've lost Willian Mota, who's a 20 plus goals per season forward. They lost him to Port. And I think that Ricardo Zivkovic is a very solid option to replace Willian Mota. He's physical forward. He's got the size. And he's that type of striker that Thai defenders or opposing defenders struggle to deal with in the Thai league. And I believe that he should be a strong candidate for one of the best strikers in the upcoming season.
Motta's a hard act to follow, isn't he? As you said, 20 plus goals and very popular as well. He will be a big loss.
Yeah, I think that not having Willian Mota will dampen a lot of the chances of potentially being in that title challenging spot for Bangkok United. But if you look in the market around the ASEAN region, I feel like Ricardo Zivkovic is probably your closest replacement to what Mota brings. Again, tall, physical forward who can finish inside the 18-yard box, aerial presence, and doesn't need many chances to finish off, So I think that he's the type of player who will be able to replace William Mota.
How did he get on in Singapore? That's probably the best comparison for us, isn't it, in this part of the world?
I don't have the exact stats in front of me. Like I can't remember all the numbers, but watching him in the AFC Champions League last season, watching him in the Singapore Premier League as well, he gets the goals. And I think that when that move from Lion City Sailors to Bangkok United happened, a lot of Singaporean fans came in and comment like, "Oh, this is good, a good forward. He's gonna be able to deliver in front of goal." So Obviously not the best transfer, but a solid one that should be able to replace William Otta, in my opinion. Since you brought that up, I'm looking at his stats right now for Lion City Sailors. 19 games, 15 goals, 3 assists.
That's a great return, isn't it?
I think that's more than solid. That's up there. That's premium stuff.
Okay, so number 4.
Yep, number 4 on my list is a player who many Thai League One fans will be quite familiar with. He is Barros Tardelli, Brazilian forward, 34 years old, last played at Port and was one of the earliest done deals of this 2024 summer transfer window period. He's now signed with PT Prachuap. He's getting up there in terms of age. He's 34 years old now, but he is a former 2020 to 2021 League One top scorer for Samut Prakan. 10 plus goals per season forward. Creative player. He's got a good eye for goal. Can also do the assists. Can also play it out wide. And I think that many Port fans, if they had an option, would have wanted to keep either him or Hamilton. Port's lost both, but also they've gained new firepower in front of goal. Anyhow, I think that a forward like Barros Tardelli is going to be an absolute baller in front of goal for Prachuap. Very familiar with how the Thai League operates, fast and ferocious in front of goal. Prachuap struggled a lot for most of last season. This is a forward who will get in there and when it matters, can get that finishing goal and probably earn Prachuap a lot of wins early on in the season.
He was at Nongbur Pitch Hire, if I remember correctly,
Yes,
before
correct.
Port. And I think that was the season they went down. Is that right? 22, 23?
Yeah, sounds like it.
It.
Yeah, sounds like
Yeah.
it. Uh-huh.
And I think he was their top scorer that season off the top of my head. I take a keen interest in them now because they're local to me. So
Yeah. And then,
up on them.
I mean, the reason why I mentioned that I think he's going to get a lot of goals and potentially drive Prachuap to wins early on in the season is after a difficult opening day fixture against Bangkok United, it's home against newcomers Nong Bua, away to Sukhothai, home to newcomers Rayong, away to struggling Chiang Rai, and home to Khon Kaen. So those 5 games, I think if you're a Prachuap fan, you're looking to try and win at least 4 of them. So with Barros Tardelli in there, fit and ready, I think that's an early way to sort of start and build a nice foundation towards the new season.
When you are one of the teams who are expected to struggle, it's very important to get a good start. And as you say, those fixtures have fell quite kindly for them, haven't they? So they will be expecting to get at least 12 points from those 5 games.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Number 3.
Number 3 on my list, he is a Thai player. So we've had a European player, we've had a South American player, and now we're going to a Thai player. He is Charoensak Wongkorn. Re-signed back to BG again. It's another one of those BG, I'm going to buy everybody signing. So 27 years old, Thai national team player. He's an absolute speedster. And for me, this is probably up there as one of the best domestic transfers of the 2024 summer. Stellar spell at Muang Thong, 1.5 seasons there, 43 appearances, 10 goals, 7 assists. And he shows he's ready to this time earn a spot at BG and potentially just excel to the next level because for me, he's a bit of a streaky player. He does have spells where he might disappear for a bit, but when he has confidence, when he's playing consistently, especially in the starting 11 role, this is a player who's one of the best right wingers in Thailand. So very exciting deal for BG fans, and hopefully it won't be a repeat of what happened in 2022 when he just absolutely struggled to earn his place and was offloaded to Muang Thong. So hopefully it's a new era for him. It's a new sort of a rebirth almost at BG this time in his second stint, and he just hits the ground running.
Some people say he should never go back. I'm trying to think of players who've gone back to previous clubs and been successful the second time, and it's very rare that that happens. As you said, he struggled the first time. He's obviously established himself well at Muangthong. How do you think he'll cope with that going back? Will the expectations be a lot higher now?
Yeah, I think that it will be. BG's made 16 new signings this transfer window. They've let go like over 20 as well. So huge roster revamp. But I think he's one of the players now where he's not a youngster anymore. He's 27. He is more mature in his game now, probably knows that it's now or never to establish himself as a regular for BG. And if you look at that right wing position for BG, he's got quite a few players to compete against. They've also signed Sivakon Teertakul from Chiang Rai who can play out there. You got other pacey players as well in the attacking creative department for BG. But I think Jalansak with this move probably bet on himself that, hey, it's my time now to shine. I can play at a high level for the Thai League One. I can play and be a starter for the national team. And the time is now. So I think that there's big pressure, and I think he will deliver. I believe that this time around, he'll prove the doubters wrong and he'll earn a spot for BG.
He certainly made a good impression when he played against Borussia Dortmund. I think he got a couple, didn't he, coming off the bench?
Yep, came off the bench, played the whole second half, and scored 2 goals. Two goals that it's the most Jaronsak Wonggon type of goals against the run of play. Uses his pace to beat the last man or beat the offside trap, and then go in and just hit it past the goalie. So if he can replicate that form throughout the season, win the trust from Makoto Tekulat Moli, I think that he will be just fine.
What do you think the Muangthong fans are thinking about his departure? I mean, I think he was well liked there, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's a big loss, Dale. It's definitely a big loss for Muang Thong. I think last season, if you ask most Muang Thong fans, will say that either Jalen Sak or Willen Pop were their players of the season. You can also make the shout, of course, for Lamed Arbilai. So yeah, those three guys, who were easily, they all three of them were easily carrying Muang Thong to a top 5 finish. But yeah, unfortunate for Muang Thong that they've lost 2 of those 3 players.
Yeah, we'll see how they get over it. Although I can think of one person who wasn't Pop's biggest fan. We have him on here quite regularly.
Oh, really? Really?
Oh,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Kevin is not an admirer of Pop. He thinks he's too greedy. But anyway, moving swiftly on, we're up to number 2. So who's the next name on your list?
Next name on my list at number 2, huge signing. This is a massive signing that obviously sent shockwaves throughout the Southeast Asian region. He is Neil Etheridge, goalkeeper, Filipino, the first ever Filipino player to play in the Premier League. Did so with Cardiff City in 2018. Multiple seasons after that, played at Birmingham City in England. And for me, this is close to a perfect replacement for Buriram's longtime goalie, Siwalak Tetsangnen. So Siwalak's 40 years old. He's one of the all-time Thai greats in goal. And he's probably, thinking about retirement. Buriram needed a replacement. They tried with the Nopon Ponkam young goalie. They tried that experiment, didn't go so well. They've offloaded him to Nakhon Si now in Thai League 2. But yeah, I mean, with Neil Etheridge, he's got an absolutely wonderful backstory to him. I mean, like this guy who was arguably the best player coming out of the Southeast Asian region in the goalkeeping department, goes to play in England, establishes himself as a regular at the top level, and also played at the lower leagues in England. He's got good size, 188 centimeters. The profile is elite. It's now time to bring that experience back to ASEAN again and keep Buriram United's back line safe. So I think that he will deliver. I think he is a perfect signing for Buriram, the best they've made this summer. I'd go out there and say that he's the best signing for Buriram this summer, and they've signed quite a lot of players as well, outfield players. But yeah, he'll be the number one. If he plays regularly, I think he's easily going to be keeping at least 10 to 15 clean sheets this season.
There's no doubt it's a huge signing to have someone with that background and that experience come into the Thai league. It's not just a big signing for Buriram, it's a signing for the league as a whole, isn't it? It shows how far we've come, really, that we, can attract these kind of players. I mean, it must have been a difficult decision for him, but he's obviously seen something that he likes and something that appeals to him. That's a credit to the league as a whole, that someone with that caliber wants to come and play here.
The Thai league's not new to signing ex-Premier League players. We've had a few who's come over to the Thai league, and let's be honest, just to collect the paycheck, mess around for a bit, and then leave after half season or a season. But with Neil Etheridge, I don't think that's the case. I think he's a player who can easily still play at the top level, whether that's in Europe, in the top leagues of Asia. But he's picked to come to the most successful club in Thailand, and he's going to show the whole nation and probably beyond Thailand, fans all over the region, that he still got it. Obviously, this one's like a no-brainer pick to me. I think Neil Etheridge has to be up there as one of the best signings this transfer window.
One of the biggest concerns is how he will cope at Buriram. I mean, obviously, it's a very strict regime. We had Charles Chapuis on the podcast a few weeks ago, and he was saying it really was good for him that at that point in his career, he didn't have any distractions. He was protected from everything, and they really looked after him. But obviously, Etheridge is coming from this background in England where he'll be used to a lot more freedom. How do you think he'll cope with that? I mean, it's something that doesn't work for everyone. Do you think he'll find that difficult? As you say, he's 34. He's a lot older. He's a lot more experienced. They're not dealing with a raw kid, are they? It's a grown man with a lifetime experience behind him.
I think to build off Charles' point, and I did listen to that episode that he was on. The best age for me, obviously, not him or not anyone else's point of view, but from my point of view, the best age I think to sign for Buriram is either under 23 when you're still, looking to establish yourself, you're still rising through the ranks, trying to earn a first team spot, or if you're over 33, which you've already, you're a big name now, you know how to act, you know how to recover yourself, you know what to do, what not to do. So I feel like there's two ranges that players fit the Buriram way, living out east, not having shopping malls, not having, the best nightclubs, not having all those distractions in front of you. And Neil Etheridge falls into the second category of older than 33. He's past that time where, okay, you want to go out there, have fun, do all that off-field stuff. So I think that it's a good signing. I think he'll cope well. It's a player who has done it at the top level. His experience will be very valuable to Buriram United players.
I must admit, the most exciting thing for me about him coming to Thailand is I'm going to try and get to a Buriram United match this season, stand right behind the goal and chant Oldham reject at him as loudly as I can. I think he was at Oldham for a very short spell, and I, from what I can remember, I don't think he made a first team appearance, so he clearly wasn't good enough.
Oh dear. Okay.
That'll give me a lot.
You do you. Just be safe.
That'll give me a lot of satisfaction. Okay, so we've come to the big one. I don't know. Are you going to top that? You've not got Ben Davies on that list again, have you, for number one?
That name is banned. I'm sorry. I'm not going to mention that name.
Associated with that, though, Tar, unfortunately. That's how these things work. Football supporters have very long memories. So you're never going to get over.
Oh, God.
So you've got to be very careful now. I hope you've put a lot of thought into this. Your number one choice for players to look out for in the 24-25 season.
I'm going with Piradon Chamlasami from Buriram United to Port. I think this is a nailed-on home run for Port. It is a signing that I believe will lift Port standards up, not only on the pitch, but also off the pitch as well. This is a player who his dad played at Port before. is a Port FC supporter, is a huge fan, avid supporter. Played for Port, youth career growing up, everything. He's played at other teams in and around the Bangkok area. Gone to Buriram for 3 seasons, won 3 league titles, and now finally gets a chance at 31 years old to sign for his beloved club. Regular for the Thai national team in midfield. He's got bags of experience, will slide into that Port midfield, and he's very well balanced. I rate him very highly. One of the best Thai players at the moment, if you ask me. Can do the dirty work, can get forward and attack, and he can also finish. So for me, he's a Port through and through guy. Lovely story off the pitch, and then on the pitch now, it's just a case that he gets in there and absolutely dominates. So for me, this is the best signing of the transfer window.
When you do join your boyhood club and a club that your father's played for, there is that extra special feeling, isn't there? You are out there as a fan, representing the fans on the pitch. And I think that's something that will be particularly appreciated at Port. They've made some other good signings as well, haven't they? How do you think he's going to fit in with the system? I mean, they seem to have brought in a lot of quality players.
Ports have probably the best summer transfer window period in the past half decade, if you ask me. They've strengthened in defense with Irfan Fandi. They've strengthened in midfield, obviously, with Pirodon. They've also signed 2 former Thai League One top goal scorers in Lonsana Dumbuya and William Mota. So it's strength all around. I just think that it's time for Port to take that next step and not just be a top 4 team and challenge, like go full throttle, go in and try to make wins against Buriram, BG, Bangkok United, make these wins a regular thing, and just not struggle as well against bottom clubs and just have a consistent season. I feel like they have the benchmark to do that this season with all their new signings. And with Pirodon, he's a nailed-on successful signing. So I think that having a player like him, where Port's missed on a lot of signings recently, having someone like Pirodon who come in, earn his spot in the starting 11, and just kick on with his career in Klong Toei, I feel like it's a good start to a season that could be a very successful one for Port.
Okay, that brings me nicely to my next question. I appreciate I'm putting you on the spot here because you did come to talk about the 5 players to look out for. But in terms of the league itself, do you have any predictions? Can we look beyond Buriram United again? You've just mentioned Port could be serious contenders. That seems to have been the feeling for a couple of seasons now. But genuinely, can you see anybody wrestling Buriram United's title away for them?
I think that if BG start strong this season, they've struggled quite a lot to get going in the past few years. But if they can start strong, and with the amount of players they have almost 2 full 11s that can play. I'm just taking a look at their fixtures here. Their opening 10 matches, their hardest opponent is Port away on match day 6.
Title decider.
Yeah, could be. Again, they don't play Bangkok United or Buriram until match day 11 and 12. That's what I'm seeing here based on the schedule that's been out. So yeah, I think for me it's gonna be a good challenge. Oh, it's 12 and 13. Yeah. Anyways, my point is BG schedule works out nicely in the first opening slate of games. If they can consistently win against teams that they're expected to win, it's going to set up for a very entertaining title challenge. Meanwhile, for Port, again, it's a matter of you have the quality players now. Can Rang San gel them together? And can they not slip up against teams on the road that they should be beating? And if BG can do that in the opening 10 games, if Port can avoid slip-ups in their away fixtures, then I think we're going to be having a 3-horse race this season between Buriram United, BG Pathum United, and Port.
For the overall good of the game, I hope you're right. It'd be great to have a really close title race that went all the way, wouldn't it? And what about T2? Who's going to win that?
Chiang Mai United. No, I'm kidding. No, it's not even gonna be close. I think Chonburi are gonna win it with 5 games to spare.
Not by Christmas, then.
No, no. T2, I circle Chonburi. I mean, if you wanna know my full predictions, I can give it to you because I've been thinking about it for a while now. But the teams coming up from T2, I'm looking at Chonburi FC to win it all. Obviously, it's going to be a dominant campaign for them based on how ready they are with the new quote unquote management. Number 2, I'm looking at a team that has been lurking around promotion for a few years now, and I think they'll finally get it. Nakhon United. They have a very solid foundation to build off last campaign. They're very unlucky, to miss out on, I believe it was away goals against Rayong.
Yeah, it was a cruel way, wasn't it, to lose it?
Yeah, it was a very cruel way. And number 3, this is a bit of a dark horse early pick, but I'm going with Bangkok FC. Newly promoted to Thai League 2, has made quite a few blockbuster signings, good foreign player up top, and they got money behind them. And that's very important in Thai football. When you have money behind you, you can go a long way. So those are my early, way too early maybe picks to get promoted from Thai League 2. Let's see in 10 months how correct I am.
I certainly wouldn't disagree with any of those, and I think you're spot on about Bangkok FC. They're going to be the team to watch this season. Anyway, that's been brilliant. Thank you. And as with all these kind of things, you're putting yourself out there. You've put your neck on the line again. So, we'll be following them very closely. But I can't let you go with just asking you very quickly about the other night. You were the commentator for the BG Pathum United versus Borussia Dortmund game. That must have been a fantastic experience for you. It must have been a great honor for you to be asked. What was it like at the ground on the night, and how did you feel having that responsibility, bringing the action to everyone?
Yeah, it was definitely a night that I think I'll remember for the rest of my life. Like, I'm not exaggerating here. I'm not being, over the top or anything, but it's certainly a once in a lifetime thing to earn the trust from BG's media team, get to broadcast and call the game that is streaming all over the world. And the overall feeling of commentating that game was, I can't put it into words, man. It's absolutely an insane thing to think about. I was the guy who was lucky enough to call the BG thumping over Dortmund. The whole event was set up brilliantly. BG are one of the best teams in terms of hosting these type of games, the match day experience, the fan festivals, all that stuff. So, I mean, everything was perfect that night. And yeah, it's something that I'm 25 now, but fast forward 50 years from now, I think I'll still be talking about how, 21st of July 2024 was a night that I got the honor to broadcast BG against Dortmund.
Yeah, that's lovely. And you did such a fantastic job as well. It's not easy, is it, commentating? It really isn't. People are very quick to pick up on mistakes and criticize, but you did a great job, and well done to you, mate. And hopefully it's the first of many. I think there'll be many more to come in the future.
Thank you. I hope so too, yeah.
So thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking the time, and we'll speak soon.
Thank you, Dale. Bye-bye.
Tierson. He's got Lawrenson in front of him. Melvin Lawrenson through on goal. Melvin Lawrenson! Welcome to BG Melvin Lawrenson.